which means it's time for the most motivational segment in all of sports, the Bud List. It's also time where we read some viewer mail. In the year 2023, we get a ton of viewer mail, and we are willing to answer your questions and concerns. Also, this is our first week after Don Sr. disciplined me, basically, for going back to the old, tired, you and your cowboy outfit joke.
Yeah, remember,
you do that every week.
I know, and Don Sr.
But Don Sr.
He chastised you?
Yeah, in the letter, bro.
I was very
in this
disappointed
letter.
when I heard you read that.
Here we go.
I wanted to see the Brew and the Cowboys.
Dear Wildes, love the show. Just wanted to wish you and the team happy holidays. Cheers, Ryan and Brian. Well, thank you, Ryan and Brian. We appreciate it.
The thing is,
graphics.
where is Dusty? Where is the real picture of my body? The one
Right
that's on the brutal, the tough. Young kids be soft. That's my real body, y'all. Public. All right, here we go. Number 3 this week. I'm going to a coach, Dan Campbell. It's been a lot of quarterbacks pretty much all the time, but now, Coach, Dan, what in the world is going on in Detroit? You started off like gangbusters winning 8 of your first 10. And then as soon as people start to believe in you, now you falter. You've lost 2 of your last 3 games, both to teams with losing records, and things are going south quickly, all right? And look, you have to realize this. I like you, but you haven't done a thing yet, okay? Everybody's talked about you, kind of like Nick would say about Josh Allen. Everybody's giving you all these accolades, and you're great, and we love you, but you really haven't done anything. Haven't made the playoffs yet. In your first 2 years. You got a chance this year, but you better keep going strong. Because look, this is how you end the season. Your last 4 games are against teams with winning records. All right, teams that are fighting for the playoffs themselves. So you got to come out there and play well. Get your team ready. This week is a game you can win. You got Denver, but it's going to be tough. But Dan, I believe in you. Go out there and bust some kneecaps or chew on some kneecaps, whatever. What is it?
Bite
some kneecaps. All right, number 2, Tua. Tua. All right, coming off a bad loss, right? It's not just that you lost to Tennessee, not just that you're at home, not just that you led by 2 touchdowns with less than 3 minutes to play. It is also that your offense could not generate one legitimate scoring or touchdown drive. Not one. You got handed all your touchdowns in that game. And Tua, you didn't have any touchdowns. You've only had 3 in your last 3 weeks. You've gone from being an MVP candidate, legitimately, to a guy that now people are wondering, is he the quarterback, the quarterback for us going forward? You don't have a contract yet. You don't have your lucrative long-term contract. So, look, you got to come out here and start playing well. Your next 3 games are tough. Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo. So you've got to beat the Jets this weekend. You beat them, you're probably in the playoffs with 10 wins. So that is good. But you got to get it together, Tua. And look, I do believe in you, Tua. I actually do. All right, at number 1. You don't think so? Well, Jalen Hurts.
Oh, wow.
All right, Jalen, I ain't tripping.
Okay.
All right? And I ain't tripping. 2 losses. 2 bad losses to 2 great teams. It happens. All right? And the reason I'm not tripping is because I know you are not tripping. All right? You are a great leader, one of the best in the game, and I believe you'll get that locker room together. You'll get guys to have the right attitude going forward, but you also have to do it with your play. And you haven't been great lately yourself. I don't think you've had a passing touchdown in the last 2 weeks. You had a couple, maybe one, but you had a running touchdown as well. You got Seattle. Now, Seattle is desperate. Seattle has a very nice defensive front and obviously a great coach. So it's going to be a tough game, so make sure your team is ready to get out there and play. And if you win this game, I really think that people will they'll kind of put that Dallas game and the San Francisco game behind them like they have for the Cowboys, right? They've played well recently. People have put those losses behind them. Yeah. That's what they can do with you. Jalen, I do believe in you.
Hey, bro. What if Philadelphia loses to Seattle? Are there any repercussions?
Yeah, Jalen, if Philadelphia loses, then I got some splaining to do. All right? I got some splaining to do on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. They play Monday night.
But not changing your pick
No,
yet.
No, man.
Well, we'll see.
Can I add somebody to the budget?
Yeah, go.
Please.
I would like to add Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
love it.
You starting things.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm starting things. And this is real. Like, I know a lot of you see me sitting next to Nick every single day, and we go at it, and you think I don't like Patrick Mahomes and or the Chiefs. That's not true. I do. And this is a moment where I'm looking at a quarterback that's taking the proper stance. I know we all want him to get on his receivers. I've been in those locker rooms. I've had those drops. I know what it feels like to have somebody pile on. That's not what's needed in this moment. What is needed is exactly what Patrick Mahomes is doing, letting us all know that he still has trust in his receivers, his skill guys. However, what we saw last week, coming off a tough loss, frustrating loss, we saw the first time ever Patrick Mahomes melt down, have a tantrum because of something that transpired in the game that could have potentially won them that game. What we talked about at the beginning of this season was a team that we felt like was establishing and creating and having the opportunity to have a dynasty on their hands. That is starting to crumble a bit. But you can have a historic, legendary season, and or I feel like this would be a season to remember if you find a way to get it done. I'm not even just talking about this week. I'm talking about the Super Bowl. Big picture. You're chasing Tom Brady. This means more to you right now than I think we all really pay attention to. The focus right now is on the receivers because we're prisoners of the moments. But when we get done with this season and you guys fail to get it done, you fail to have communicated or effectively created relationships to where this works itself out, we're not going to say, oh, yeah, they lost. The Kansas City Chiefs lost because of those receivers. Remember when they were dropping balls? Kadarius Toney, MVS? No, we're going to say Patrick Mahomes missed an opportunity. We're going to look at Patrick Mahomes. We're going to look at you and say that you didn't get it done. Patrick Mahomes, you have a chance to do something special with one of the worst rosters around you offensively that we've seen. If you get it done, special.
That's very good. And it was motivational because I agree. Look, Patrick Mahomes is competing with Tom Brady. We know that. He's by far the best quarterback in the league right now. Brady's his competition, and you guys know how I feel about Mahomes. Sports Illustrated has documented that I've said he's the best quarterback
ever. One of those AI-generated
articles.
No.
However, Nick, and I know this might stick in your craw, but Brady did win Super Bowls with like Deion Branch and Troy Brown
Super Bowl MVP,
and David Gibbons.
Like
and,
guys that aren't
like Pro Bowl
You mean
caliber.
like Mahomes did last year?
Multiple Super Bowls with those guys.
Got it,
all right, so Pat, I'm just saying.
Oh, the Super Bowls when they had number one defense in the league.
When you nitpick between the great players,
I forget.
These are things you look at.
No, you're right. You're right.
I'm with Patrick, but I like the motivation.
Mahomes has to prove he can win with lesser receivers as he's the defending champion with those lesser receivers. I'm going to someone who has obviously proven far more than Patrick Mahomes, and this season has gotten a far greater benefit of the doubt than Patrick Mahomes, and that is none other than Chris Broussard's MVP, Brock Purdy. And here's why Brock Purdy is on the bud list. It's not my fault, Brock. I've tried to protect you from this. He's on the bud list because he has become the story of the season. You know how I know it? Because earlier this show, we were having a Josh Allen MVP conversation, and Brew, not once, but twice, shoehorned Brock Purdy into it, not even arguing for him to be MVP, but arguing about other things that have been said. But take this show out of it. Brock Purdy is such a hot topic that Cam Newton can, while discussing Brock Purdy, accidentally insult Dak Prescott, which then led to a lot of people insulting Cam Newton. Like, just you touch the Purdy stove, everyone gets burnt. Fair or not, he is now under the most pressure of any player in the NFL. The Niners are the 1 seed. We all said the league's wide open. We all know that they have the best running back in football. They have statistically the best defense in football. And thanks to prisoners of the moment media, they have the MVP at quarterback. So they must be the overwhelming favorites to win the Super Bowl. We have now gotten to a point, not thanks to me, I've been pushing against it, Brock, but thanks to so many others, that making the NFC title game and losing will be considered a massive failure.
Oh, yeah.
Making the Super Bowl.
That's true.
It will be true.
That's my prediction.
Brew, believe it or not, there are other voices in the media other than you. I'm talking to all of them. Making the Super Bowl and losing will be considered coming up short. Now, do I think that's fair? for a physically limited player that was the last pick of last year's draft? I do not.
Here we go.
But others who think he is the league MVP, who think his floor is Dak Prescott and his ceiling is Tom Brady, who think we have Kurt Warner 2.0 in our midst, well, Kurt Warner, you know what he did? His first full-time year as a starter, went to the Super Bowl and won it. And won MVP. So, Brock, I didn't want to put you under duress. Everyone else has done it, most notably Chris Broussard, who on Tuesday is probably going to switch his Super Bowl pick to you guys. So, Brock Purdy, Brew believes in you.
I cry foul.
Why?
What is the Bud List about?
Motivation.
Motivation and inspiration.
Yeah.
That you put a target on Brock Purdy's back.
Don't do that.
That's what you did. You put a target on his back. You weren't. Nick, that did not come out of love.
Leave me on the camera.
That did not come out of love.
What do I not do? I wave pom-poms for no one.
No,
Is that your thing, Brew? Your little pom-pom
like
wave thing? Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, just to put a button on this, I'm putting Giannis on the Bud List. This is the most horoscopy story of the week. So what does that mean exactly? Because when you look at the story, you're like, I don't know, take it any way you want to take it. Is this a sign that the in-season tournament worked and we have a new rivalry in the NBA? Yes. Is this a sign that Giannis is totally locked in and his intensity carries over after the game, so he wants his game ball? Yes. Is this actually a sign that he's a good teammate because he didn't want the ball and wanted to give it to Damian Lillard because he passed Kyle Korver? That's out there too. The whole thing is just very confusing. Here's Giannis to try to explain it. Take a listen. Oh, you know what? Here's what else is confusing. We don't even have the sound. So the whole thing is just a confusing mess. Overall, I'm going to take it as Giannis's intensity just carries over and they're locked in. But if you wanted to argue that he's too focused on the game ball and not focused enough on the season at large, I'd be okay
pressed about the season at large.
Yeah.
Anxious pressed that the Bucks have not been quite as dominant as he hoped they would be.
Yeah, they need to get it together. All right, they look like the best team
I got
in
a question
the East.
for Nick really quick. Do you think this will be Patrick Mahomes' greatest accomplishment if he's able to overcome all of what has transpired this season?
I'm learning from these guys. And the fact that you would interrupt the end of the Bud List, ask me that question, makes me think it's a trap.
No, it's not a trap. It's not a trap. It's a real question.
Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl this year would not be his greatest accomplishment. It would be the greatest accomplishment in NFL history. Mark it down. Well, you guys, all I've heard all year is it's the worst. All I've heard all.
Wow.
There you go.
Everybody knows that is not my body.
No, everybody knows it's your body.
Because we were working on that.
We have cowboy music now?
I didn't even hear that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.